68 horsepower, 5-speed transmission, electric start, disc brakes, all in one package for under $1,500. 1969, the Honda CB750 lands in American dealerships, and everything changes overnight. British twins that leak oil and vibrate your teeth loose? Done. American V-twins that can't rev past 6,000 RPM? Obsolete. Honda just brought 4 cylinders to the street, and nobody saw it coming. But here's the question nobody asks. Why 4 cylinders? What's so special about that number? Why not 2 like a Harley? Why not 6 like a car? Why did 4 become the magic formula for every sport bike from that day forward? The answer isn't what you think. It's not about power. It's not about speed. It's about something way more fundamental. And once you understand it, you'll know exactly why your GSXR, your Ninja, your R6 all have 4 cylinders in a row. Let's start with the problem Honda was trying to solve. 1967, Honda's crushing Grand Prix racing with multi-cylinder engines. They've got 5-cylinder, 6-cylinder machines winning championships, but they pull out of racing to focus on street bikes. American dealers are screaming for bigger motorcycles. The CB450 twin isn't cutting it. British bikes own the market. Triumph, Norton, BSA, but they're ancient technology. Heavy flywheels, slow revving, constant maintenance. Honda's founder, Soichiro Honda, visits Switzerland, sees a cop on a Triumph 750. The bike looks small because the cop is so big. Right there, Honda realizes Japanese bikes need to get serious about the American market. So the team goes to work. The goal? Build something that makes 67 horsepower, one more than a Harley-Davidson. Beat the Americans at their own game. They could have built a bigger twin. Easy. Boring. They could have built a triple like Triumph was working on. Interesting. Still not enough. They went with 4, and here's why. Balance. Pure and simple. 4 cylinders arranged in a line solve a physics problem that's plagued every motorcycle engine since the beginning. Vibration. Every time a piston fires and slams down, it creates an imbalance. The engine wants to rock, it wants to shake, it wants to tear itself apart. With 1 cylinder, you feel every single power stroke. Thump, pause. Thump, pause. That's a dirt bike. Fun for trails, terrible for highway speeds. With 2 cylinders, it gets better, but you still have this rocking motion. The engine wants to tip forward and backward. V-twins embrace this. They make it part of the character. Parallel twins try to minimize it, but it's always there. 3 cylinders, better. Yamaha's made some great triples, but there's still an imbalance. 1 cylinder is always out of sync with the other 2. You can feel it. But 4 cylinders in a straight line, that's where the magic happens. Picture this. 4 pistons attached to 1 crankshaft. They're firing in a specific order. 1, 3, 4, 2, or 1, 2, 4, 3, depending on the design. When cylinder 1 fires and pushes down, cylinder 4 is doing the exact opposite, moving up. The forces cancel out. When cylinder 2 fires, cylinder 3 is moving the opposite direction. Perfect balance. There's still some secondary vibration at really high RPMs. Some inline-fours use balance shafts to kill that too. But compared to a twin or a triple, an inline-four is butter smooth. And that smoothness, it's not just about comfort, it's about what comes next. RPM, revolutions per minute, how fast the engine can spin. A big V-twin has huge pistons, long stroke, lots of mass moving up and down. All that weight takes time to change direction. That's why Harley's redline at 9,000 RPM. The engine physically can't spin faster without breaking itself. An inline-four has smaller pistons, shorter stroke, less mass. Those pistons can change direction way faster. No problem hitting 12, 13, 14,000 RPM. And here's the key. Power equals torque times RPM. If you can spin twice as fast, you can make twice the power from the same displacement. That's why a 600cc sport bike makes 100 horsepower and a 600cc cruiser makes 40. Same amount of air and fuel going in, but the sport bike is using it twice as many times per minute. The inline-four lets you build a small, lightweight engine that screams to 15,000 RPM and makes insane power for its size. The Honda CB750 proved it. 736 cc, 68 horsepower. That was 50% more power than any twin on the market, and it weighed less, and it didn't vibrate, and it didn't leak oil. Dealerships got flooded with orders. Honda estimated they'd sell 1,500 bikes a year. Within months, they were building 3,000 per month. Every other manufacturer panicked. Kawasaki had been working on their own 754. They saw the CB750 and went back to the drawing board. Came back in '72 with the Z1, 900 cc, 82 horsepower. The war was on. Suzuki built the GS series. Yamaha built the XS. Every Japanese manufacturer jumped on inline-fours. Even the British tried to fight back. Triumph and BSA built triples. Norton stuck with twins. But it was too late. The inline-four had already won. By the mid-'70s, if you wanted a serious motorcycle, you bought a Japanese inline-four, period. Now here's where it gets interesting. Why didn't anyone go to 5 or 6 cylinders? They tried. Honda built 6-cylinder bikes, the CBX, the Goldwing, incredible engines, smooth as a turbine, but they were massive, heavy, wide, hard to fit into a sporting chassis. For a touring bike, 6 cylinders makes sense. You want that smoothness for 800 miles a day on the highway. But for a sport bike, 4 is the sweet spot. You get the balance, you get the high RPM capability, and the engine is still narrow enough to tuck into a slim chassis for cornering. This is why MotoGP used inline-fours for decades. Yamaha still does. It's the most proven formula for making power and handling well. V4s started showing up in racing. Ducati, Honda, Aprilia, KTM. They're more compact than an inline-four, better weight distribution, but they're expensive, complex, and honestly, for street bikes, the inline-four is hard to beat. Let's talk about what this means for the rider. When you twist the throttle on an inline-four sport bike, nothing happens at first. Below 6,000 or 7,000 RPM, it feels flat, almost boring. But then you cross into the power band. The engine wakes up. 8,000, 9,000, 10,000. The note changes from a purr to a scream. The bike lunges forward like it just remembered it's a sport bike. That's the trade-off. All that high RPM power comes at the expense of low-end torque. You have to rev it to make it move, keep it on the boil. That's why sport bike riders are always shifting, always in the power. A V-twin cruiser pulls hard from 2,000 RPM. You can lug it around in top gear and it doesn't care. That's a different kind of riding. The inline-four demands to be revved. It rewards you for using the whole tachometer. That's part of the experience. And that sound, that high-pitched wail at 14,000 RPM, that's become the signature of performance motorcycles. When people think sport bike, they hear that scream in their head. It's the sound of continuous combustion, no gaps between power strokes, just a smooth, relentless wave of explosions pushing you forward. So why do sport bikes have 4 cylinders? Because in 1969, Honda needed to build something that beat the British. They needed smooth power, high RPMs, reliability, and they needed to do it affordably. 4 cylinders in a line solved all those problems at once. Perfect primary balance, high revving capability, compact packaging, and it could be mass-produced on Honda's assembly lines. That formula worked so well that 55 years later, it's still the default for sport bikes. Yamaha R1, Kawasaki ZX10R, Suzuki GSXR, Honda CBR, all inline-fours. Yes, some manufacturers have gone to V4s, Ducati's Panigale, Honda's VFR, Aprilia's RS-V4. They've got advantages, but the inline-four keeps winning because it's proven, it's reliable, it's affordable, and it works. The next time you see a sport bike fly past you on the highway screaming at 13,000 RPM, you'll know why it sounds like that. You'll know why it has 4 exhaust pipes. You'll know why the engine is mounted sideways in the frame. It's all because Honda figured out in '69 that 4 cylinders was the perfect number. Not too few, not too many, just right. And that decision shaped every performance motorcycle that came after.